Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan here again with MJS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, I thank you, and non-subscribers, I'm really hoping I can tease you into pushing that button. This past fall, I completed my 38th year coaching football, and I was a defensive coordinator. But over that time, I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, what I'd like to talk to you about in 3-4 is our match quarters, our base match quarters that we call Gray 4, okay? And we're going to teach you how we defend against a concept that we call Ohio switch. All right, so here you go, non-subscribers. We classify our route concepts by two receiver route concepts, we call them. Okay, if you want to know what we do with 3x1, hit subscribe. You want to know what we do with both sides of formation that creates a concept, again, have to push the button. But over here, I have what are the key terms in order to be able to defend against Ohio switch in our base match quarters Gray 4. And then over here, I'll bring it to life for you. All right? So the first key term is surface. Everything begins with the surface, and the surface for us is the offensive line, and when there's a tight end, the tight end's part of the surface. So tight end to tackle, right? So these guys read this part of the surface. These guys read this part of the surface, okay? And the offensive line tells you run pass direction, okay? So I'm not going to say every single time when I go over a position, surface, it's an automatic. Surface to 2. So we're going to eventually, when we get to it, surface is showing pass, and then it goes surface to 2, surface to 2. But coming up with the diagram, all right? Number 2, the term is read number 2. And then the rhyme tells you what to do. Read number 2 tells you what to do. Hey, read, right? I learned that way back when playing college football at UMass Amherst. Coach Jim Reed, one of the greatest defensive minds in the history of college football, in my opinion. In this particular case, number 2 is running an out under 10, and in fact, usually well under 10, so they have good spacing, and you'll see that when I illustrate it, okay? So number 3, what this is a double out concept, okay? Ohio, double out. And that's how we present it to our players, so they make the connection, all right? Word terminology, make sure it makes sense and connects to what it means, okay? At least that's what we do. And the word switch to us means that numbers 2 and 1 exchange the routes. So non-subscribers, if you hit the button, you'll see how we defend Ohio. We tag switch to it. That means 2 and 1 simply exchange the routes, okay? Still a double out, but who's doing which out, okay? So that's what switch means to us, all right? I'm purposely using an 11 formation, 11 personnel, so I can show you how our attached outside linebacker on a tight end defends it. He's knocked back, expand, running back, 2, crosser, and then 5, the detached, that's the guy in space. Everything's the same except there's no knockback because he's not on a tight end, all right? So that's just expand, running back to crosser. And I'll go over that with you in the diagram, okay? So the number 6 is our boundary and field corner. And so what they're going to do is they're going to match the out of 2, which is their base rule in Gray 4, okay? Number 7, the whip and the free, they're going to zone off because they always mirror the release of 2, and then they're going to end up being Mott, man over 10, on number 1. Okay, again, you'll see that in the diagram. And then finally, last and certainly not least, the inside linebackers. Everything stays the same for them. Running back 2 or mirror the Q. Running back 2 or mirror the Q. Okay? So over here now in the diagram, first thing I'm going to do on both sides is I'm going to illustrate the Ohio switch concept. Okay, the 2-man route concept. So an Ohio switch, since number 2 is doing the shallower of the outs, right? Under 10, it's usually around 5 because, depending on arm strength of the quarterback, number 1 runs the deeper out, and that's usually 10 plus. So again, the stronger the arm, he could be a little deeper, so he could be a little deeper. With what we see, an average, typical quarterback arm, 1's running at 10, 2's running at 5. Okay? And obviously at the professional level, it might be a 20-yard out. Okay? Well, I'm not at the professional level. And then over here, same thing. 2 running the shallow out. 1 running the deeper out. Okay? So there's your double out concept. Okay? Everybody get with me on that? I'm sorry, I had a little technical glitch there. So over here, same thing. 2's running the shallower out, 1's running the deeper out, and as I was saying, and when we had a technical glitch, everybody with me on that? All right. So now I'm going to show you how we defend this in our base match quarters gray 4. So remember the 4, right? These 4 are reading this number 2, and these 4 are reading that number 2. Not split coverage, but it does operate independently because I have it purposely drawn up, as I said, show you the attached and detached outside linebackers. Everybody else is identical, but we don't know they're going to be mirrored. So it could be Ohio switch over here. It could be California, right? So that's why I'm making that point. All right, so I'm going to start with the boundary corner here, right? So remember, corner is going to match the outer 2. So also remember, right? Everything starts with the surface. So the surface, hi-hat, showing pass, whether it's hard set, soft set. This is likely to be a hard set, okay? He's going to zit, walk pedal. He sees the hi-hat, continue to walk, reads the out, boom. That's the match. He's got outside leverage on an inside-out route, right? The 2's coming from inside out. He's already out there. We say that's the match for you, baby. Woo! Okay? So, as we said here, right, whip and the free safety, same thing. Surface, he's 3-step zip, walk pedal. He sees 2 out. He expands, zones off to number 1. When 1 breaks it off, he's got to close that distance ASAP because this is the one that in gray 4 they usually try to hit. So that's why it's extremely important that you work hard every day in practice. Your everyday drills involve your pedals, your footwork. Walk. Don't create space. You'll never be able to make a play. Walk. You're going to have to, number 2 is going to have to break down, right, his hips and everything in order to run that out, even if it's a speed out cut at 10. If you've been walk pedaling, you're going to be in a position to break, right, redirect, break downhill in the football with zone leverage. That's the way we want it, okay? Now we'll get to the attach, right, versus a tight end. Of all 11 positions, his world is that tight end. So he's going to hear everybody else say pass. See, he's not seeing all that. So on the snap of the football, the movement of the tight end, that's the knockback. Fistful of tight end. So then he's going to hear pass, so he's going to try and hold him as long as he can. But we teach him, as soon as you start to turn, let him go so you don't get called for holding. Okay, so that's the knockback. And then gray 4, it's automatic. Expand. His eyes go to 1. 1's not a threat. He's going to balance up. And then it's running back first. What's meant by the crosser, his eyes look as somebody coming from across the field to him. Okay, hence crosser, coming from the other side of the formation. That's what I said at the beginning. It's not split coverage. It operates independently. And that's because when the scheme has no threats to the outside backer and the back's not a threat to him either, the threat might be coming from the other side of the formation. Okay? So we're going to cover the inside linebackers last. Over here, everything stays the same. Start with the field, right? Quick sit, walk pedal, read the out, match the out at 2, right? Walk pedal, zone off, redirect, close the distance right now, make a play in the football, because again, that's likely where they're going. Okay? Now, if you've got real experienced corners and they know how to read the situation and you're playing an opponent that loves to run Ohio switch, then your experienced corners can bait them into the shorter route. We start from day 1. 2's out to you in grade 4. You match it now. And then we can teach it as time goes on how to sink underneath. But, okay, I'd advise against that. Just let them match the out at 2. Now here, remember, the only difference with the detached is he's in space. 2 detaches, he detaches, not subscribers. So there's no knockback. So now, right, boom, he reads the hi-hats, expands. 1's not a threat. Balance up, and he's doing the same thing, running back to crosser, somebody coming across the field. Okay? And as I said, last but certainly not least, our inside linebackers, right? Surface, boom. So they just pivot. 2's not to them, they pivot back. 2's not to them, they pivot back. So I'm going to have, okay, the running back fit into protection. So this is a running back to him. When the running back fits into protection, that is an automatic, what we call key rush. Okay, that's his key. He's blocking, you add to the rush. You simply plug the open gap. It's either A or B. So you're going butt side of the guard. If the back doesn't try to block you, retrace. It's a screen, right? Boom, done. So now in this case, the running back's going away, right? Running back 2 or mirror the cue. So what mirror the cue means is spy, but we want him to be right across from the quarterback. So as the QB is looking downfield, he's looking in the mirror and seeing the Mike linebacker. That's what we mean by mirror. Yes, it's spy, but we want him, when the quarterback moves, you move. So when he's looking, he sees you. Okay? So as always, we let the offensive scheme dictate where we should be. Hence, match quarters. Okay? So as I said at the beginning, to my subscribers, I thank you. To non-subscribers, I hope I've teased you into pushing the button. I apologize for that little technical glitch there momentarily. Stuff happens. I'll have to talk to my production crew. That's me. I'd like to thank you for watching MJS Coaching Football, and I also like to thank YouTube for providing this platform.